All right, guys, moving on through the end of April, April 23rd, after the open. Let's understand the context of what we had coming in this morning. We rallied into yesterday's close, number one. Number two, after that, meaning the overnight session, we actually got negative news fundamentally with the Chinese, less stimulus still at play affecting their markets. But we come in and we're actually slightly higher with an open of 15 quarter versus a close of 13 even. So we rally into the close yesterday, finish strong. We wake up, essentially weather some headwinds with more negative news and find ourselves slightly even above yesterday's close. So with that, you could kind of say more bullish than bearish, probably with good reason. Doesn't mean you're going to make money being right. But the first qualifier came shortly after our 8:30 Central open. And let's play it and take a look. First of all, it opens and starts moving down to a VWAP and then starts chopping sideways. It was still a little bearish with this big blue area getting hit. They bid and hit them, and it didn't go down a lot, but it did go down, and then it chopped sideways and began to form some consolidation to see it strong through. But let's watch it as it plays and goes back and forth. You see some red edge selling at 12.5, 13 quarter. They come in, they also buy it, they come back and sell it. Then I began to say, hey, listen, let me stop it a second. You start to see these reds come in, and I said, because you've got this red with this kind of bearish scenario, this red, you start to look at this whole area as an area instead of a price, right? So 13 quarter, 13.75, 14 quarter, and I started saying that you start to breach that, and you're going to have the shorts crying uncle and become the buyers that'll send us up. The VWAP holding. There's something interesting as this started to get defined that happened in the NASDAQ. Let's play this out a little bit more. In fact, let's slow it down. It's going too fast. Let's play it back. Remember, the upside is around 13.5, 14 quarter. The downside is this VWAP that is holding us to the downside. Now, 13.5s come in right there. And we started saying, here's another seller that if they get above it, shorts are in trouble because 13.5s are aggressively sold. So you start to say, hey, we start to get above it. I paused it. It goes away because it's balanced out, but they initially came in selling it, right? So if you're bullish, that is a potential win moment, as I'm telling everyone. But the kicker was, what was another market doing to help you get your rear end in the trade, right? So we look at this, and it was the NASDAQ going through a consolidation top. And let me show it to you in a second. I'll pause this, bring that down, open this up. The NASDAQ on their open, and I really got to bring this over because you won't be able to see it as clear because we rallied so much after it. The price was what? 48. Let me rotate it back. I couldn't have seen it when it was right in here. But as this market, follow my arrow, starts banging back, it forms this consolidation box. And what we had said before this pop is buy stops above 48. You don't have to be a genie to see this. You just got to be looking for it. So when you get this, it's actually another red edge zone comes in, it gets breached. But this was like 8:38, it started popping out. When you get that, around the same time you get the red edge zones getting breached, if you're bullish and not long, you're missing it. If you're short and not covering, you're missing some. So let's go back to this chart and see if it'll continue to play out. That's the key. Getting above 13.5, But getting the NASDAQ, you're not going to be able to see it because I don't have this on playback, but getting the NASDAQ to bounce through 48, to rally through 48. When those happen together, this was actually the price, right, guys? It was 13 even. Because I believe when I say she, it's a female voice for selling, comes in. They didn't even hesitate to go down. I think 13 even was it. Yeah. So, but it's, what time is this? 8:36. For me, I have to overlap it with something else, or else you're going to hesitate, not be sure. You're getting these red zone, turn to a green zone. If you're not long and you're bullish, again, you're missing something, because at the same time, this NASDAQ blows through the 48s, blows through them, just like this. I shouldn't say blew through them because they didn't blow through them, but they go through them and didn't really look back. And there was a heatless trade. If you got long 13 quarters, 13 halves, 13.75s, anywhere in that area, you know where you're wrong, and that's below the bottom of this consolidation. So if you get long and you know where you're wrong, you put yourself in a position to hesitate less. But when you got this guy, meaning a cousin, that's leading you in a direction, you're going to hesitate a lot less. And that's what's really important when we go over these highlights day in and day out, is the repetition of always tying in another market. We'll see you guys on the next video.